This is the Nearstream AM25X, the microphone I have been using in most of my recent reviews here on YouTube. This microphone is jam-packed with a lot of features, and I'm very proud to say that in October of 2025, of all the microphones I have personally tried, this is the best. Of course, I know it's a heavy claim to be dropping, but I will go over my reasons throughout this video. First and foremost, this microphone has multi-connectivity being XLR and USB-C, and I know that's nothing new in a lot of microphones nowadays. But this mic has a denoise function which cleans out background noises and isolates your voice, and it sounds really very good. You may activate or deactivate noise suppression by holding the mute touchpad for a few seconds. And since we're already going through the touchpads, this has two touchpads in total, one for mute button and denoise, and the other for the knob adjustment. The knob can adjust both microphone gain and PC playback volumes, but this will only work on USB-C mode. Speaking of gain, this has a total of 15 levels to choose from, so there's a wide range of volumes or levels to suit your needs. Throughout this video, I will be using this microphone on USB-C mode with different distances and gain levels. But at the end of this video, in the last part, I'm gonna be using this microphone in XLR mode. Also, just check the text in the lower left corner of this video to see how much boost my editor will be adding in post. I know we've already gone through a lot of these features, but anyways, let me just take this time to briefly introduce myself. Hi, I am Daniel with the Biboyharanero team. We have been reviewing keyboards, mice, and audio gear since 2019, so be sure to subscribe and always be updated with our new videos. If you do decide to pick up this microphone, by the way, I do highly suggest that you download the Nearstream app and you update the firmware before you do any kind of testing. Now, going back to this microphone, this can do vocal monitoring over USB-C mode, so you hear your voice while you record or while you stream. Then if you plan to connect this via XLR, you're gonna need phantom power of 48 volts for this to work because it is a condenser microphone. So yes, it has very clear, crisp pickup thanks to the condenser capsule within. Let's go over some of the more nitty-gritty details of its specifications. When connecting this over USB-C, this can output audio at 16-bit 44K, but it does record audio at 24-bit 48K, which I think is ample enough. I also do want to mention that the 3.5mm output port has a very powerful internal amp. In other words, this can output really loud volumes and even drive the most power-hungry headsets I have. Now, onto the microphone pickup. Again, this is a condenser microphone with a supercardioid pickup polar pattern. Supercardioid is more expensive than just cardioid capsules because it picks up sound at a very focused angle just in front of the microphone. This results in less background noise and better vocal isolation. Now, the downside to using a supercardioid capsule is that it would shoot the price up of the microphone. However, with all of this said, this microphone is only priced at around $80. Now, during my first try of the microphone, I thought it was a dynamic mic, but the website information and also the manuals advertises that it's a condenser microphone. I think that also is the case because of how sensitive the capsule is. You basically get clean, crisp audio at condenser microphone levels with a background noise suppression of a dynamic microphone. Speaking of noise suppression, this has a signal-to-noise ratio of 75 dB, which I think is above average, meaning the internal noise of the microphone is really very low. The hissing that you may be hearing from my recording right now is from my PC fans. However, I do have denoise function turned on, so it's probably pretty quiet. Moving on, the max sound pressure level is rated at 125 dB, which I think is ample enough for singing or for loud voices. Overall, I really love the value that this microphone offers in terms of specs. Now let's go over more of its build quality and performance in the next segments. Out of the box, you get the microphone, the stand, documentation, and cable. Nearstream offers this same exact microphone with a scissor arm stand called the AM20X. What we have here is the AM25X with a desktop stand. We'll go over this desktop stand later on as I think it's something that's really good. Firstly, onto the microphone. This is really very lightweight, yet it's a mixture of both plastic and metal construction. Looking into the capsule of the microphone, you see that it is recessed by about an inch, though it's really difficult to pick that up on camera. What this does is it helps the microphone reject plosives better. And the plosives, by the way, is the popping noise that you hear when someone blows air into the microphone. Something like this. Then again, plosive rejection is very good on this thing. I like that the foam is removable for when you need to clean it. Some microphones do not have a removable foam, which can accumulate saliva throughout time, and it's just disgusting. Great job, Nearstream, for going with this removable foam design. Keep it up. Next, for mounting this microphone, this has a 1/4 inch female thread, so you can mount this on any stand that's compatible with cameras. I think this is a very minimalist design, and I love it mainly because it adds a lot of versatility with mounting options. Onto the knob, it does not have any tactility to it, as it doesn't snap when you twist it. However, twisting it left or right has very good smooth tightness to it. However, I think it's a little bit too tight, but I think it's just fine. Now onto the base desktop stand. I love that the base has a lot of weight to it to keep the microphone stable on your desk. The base also has some padding underneath so it doesn't scratch or damage your table. Onto the trunk of the base stand, it is adjustable in height for versatility with positioning your microphone. Then the base stand terminates to a ball mount, which allows you to move the microphone around. By the way, that ball mount is removable. Lastly, onto the cable, it is a USB-C to USB-C cable with a USB-A adapter integrated to it. I know that by now, I've already been talking a lot about why I think this is the best microphone that you could get. Very good features, good specs on paper, and also commendable build quality. But let's go over the actual tests. Hey guys, it's Daniel here. First and foremost, forgive my background because I'm a tech reviewer. I don't have a lot of time to always fix up. But anyways, testing microphone, testing microphone, testing microphone, testing microphone. That, my dear friends, is supercardioid. In other words, it doesn't pick up sound from this position of the microphone, only in front. So what this does is it adds in a lot of passive noise cancellation. Passive, in other words, there's no software or hardware chip that tweaks the sound, but rather it's just the capsule picking up sound mostly from in front, not at the sides. Testing microphone, testing microphone. And especially not at the back. Not sure if you heard that right, but I said especially not at the back. Let's move on. Testing microphone, testing microphone. I am speaking at 1 inch away, and I have the gain level set to level 5. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled pepper. Plosive rejection is very good, and that's because of the recessed capsule, which I talked about in the build quality segment of this video. P. Very good plosive rejection right there. And the other thing that I really like about this microphone is if you speak really closely, it's not fatiguing, because most of microphones that are out there, if you speak closely to the microphone, the proximity effect is just a little too fatiguing. In other words, it's going to pick up a lot of the low end, and this adds in a lot of bass to your voice, and it kind of muffles and muddies out your voice. It takes away a lot of the detail, but not with this microphone. Again, I'm speaking really closely to this microphone at gain level 5. Okay, so if you choose gain level 5, I would suggest that you speak about 1 inch away. I think the sound is just perfect. If you want to move away from the microphone, say 4 inches or so, gain level 10 would probably be the best gain level if you want to speak about 4 inches away. But if you have this really low, say, let me adjust the microphone here. Now I'm speaking at about 6 inches away from the microphone. I would move up to gain level 15. You see that blinking? It means we are at maximum gain. So I have this at 6 inches away, and this is what my voice sounds like at 6 inches away at maximum gain. You're probably hearing a lot more of my PC fans because they're really noisy. So let me turn on denoise function. Now denoise function is turned on. Let's explore this in more detail in the next segment. So I'm still at gain level 15, and I'm about 6 inches away from the tip of the microphone, to be precise. I turned on the AC, and I don't know how that changes my voice. In my monitors, I can hear my voice very clearly, and let me turn off noise reduction. Yep, that is how noisy my background is. But with the denoise function on this microphone, it does a very good job with canceling out background noises or hums from a fan or from your AC. Very good job, in fact. Okay, so to sum up this whole review, here are the few things that I liked, and here are also the few things that I think is a room for improvement. First and foremost, I love how clean the pickup of the microphone is. The signal to noise ratio is very high, therefore the internal noise of the microphone is super low. Next up, condenser microphones are very sensitive and sometimes may pick up a lot of noise from the background, which is not needed in the recording. But this microphone performed really well with regards to passive background noise suppression. With the denoise function activated, I think it also performed really well, as the noise suppression was very clean and still somehow retained a full pickup of my voice. Now for the rooms for improvement, I wish there was an option for us to turn off vocal monitoring, but this is easily fixable by using a separate sound card for audio. Overall, I think that is the only room for improvement on this microphone, and it isn't even a big issue for me personally because I like to use different external DACs for audio. I think this microphone is very easy to recommend for all voice types, be it female or male, and this is also a very versatile versatile microphone with very good pickup quality for singing, voiceover work, or even streaming. Very good job, Nearstream. As for now, again, I crown this microphone the best microphone I've ever tried. Again, as of today. I'm looking forward for another microphone that could possibly beat this. I will leave links down in the description below on where to get your Nearstream AM25X condenser microphone. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below, and I will be sure to get back to you when I can. Bye-bye.